Welcome back to more Sip2Tally. I'm your host, Coach Evans, and today on our more Sip2Tally countdown, we're going to take a look at our number 22, our 22nd team, the New Orleans Saints, and they reside in New Orleans, Louisiana, where the motto is "Laissez le bon temps rouler." And let the good times roll. Now, coming in at the number 22 team on this June 26, 2024, they also have the number 22 quarterback room, led by Derek Carr. Derek Carr played in 7 games last year. I don't think that's right. Let me start over. Derek Carr played in 17 games last year, was 375 for 514 for 3,878 yards. He had 25 touchdowns, 18 interceptions. He had a 97.7 passer rating. His backups is Jake Haener, however you say that. He didn't have any stats last year. And then the backup, the number 3 quarterback, who's probably going to end up being the number 2, and probably the future quarterback for the New Orleans Saints, if not going to be a bridge quarterback, is Spencer Rattler, the rookie from South Carolina. And Spencer Rattler is probably the most popular quarterback on the staff, being that he was in a reality show in high school, went to Oklahoma, ended up getting beat out by Caleb, and went to South Carolina and finished his career at the University of South Carolina. And actually ended up not being pretty good at South Carolina, his last couple of years there. Let's go to the running back room for the New Orleans Saints. Number 25. Now, they're number 25 to me just on the strength of Alvin Kamara. I love what Kamara brings to the game. The way he runs the ball, the way he catches the ball. And speaking of, last year he split time with Jamal Williams. Jamal is still there also. Last year he played 13 games, had 694 yards, also had 75 receptions. Kamara is just as good as a receiver as he is a runner. And some say he's probably a better receiver than he is a runner. But he can give you both dimensions, and that's why I think he's a valuable asset to the New Orleans Saints. Jamal Williams, in my opinion, has hit the proverbial wall. Last year he played in 13 games, 306 yards, and his only touchdown came on the controversial call when they were supposed to take a knee. Jameis Winston said, forget that. We're going to get my man a touchdown. And they scored a touchdown, and the opposing coach was mad at Dennis Allen, and there was a whole bunch of hoopla. I think it was the Falcons coach was mad at Dennis Allen for them scoring a touchdown. That's the only touchdown Jamal Williams got all season. And then they got a young guy in that room also, Kendre Miller, who played in 41 games, had 156 yards for 1 touchdown and 10 catches for 117 yards. So their running back room is number 25, but really it's Alvin Kamara in that room. And if they have to lead with Jamal or Kendre, they may or may not. No, they may be in trouble because Kamara is the guy. And as far as a pure runner, I don't think they have a pure runner anymore because Kamara is more of a receiver than he is a runner. But he can run now. He can run. Don't get it twisted. Going to the wide receiver room. Now, I really like that receiver room. I have that receiver room ranked number 12. The leader in that room is Chris Olave, and Ohio State is putting out receiver on top of receiver on top of receiver. He played in 16 games last year, had over 1,000 yards, 1,123 to be exact, and 5 touchdowns. Another guy I liked in that room who didn't get a lot of shine, but he showed up in spurts is Rashid Shaheed. He also helped them in the return game. He played in 15 games, had 719 yards and 5 touchdowns. But this kid can fly. And once he gets the ball in his hands, he turns into a really shifty runner. I really like him to expound on that 719 yards, be bigger in the offense, and probably push 1,000 yards with Chris Olave this year. So I really like him being a number 2 to Chris Olave this year. If they stay healthy and Derek Carr cannot turn the ball over, I like this combination to be really good, especially in that division. They picked up Cedric Wilson from the Dolphins, and really was no space for Cedric Wilson in that offense. He don't fit the speed profile that the Dolphins need. So last year he had less than 300 yards. A.T. Perry is another guy that I like for them, for the Saints that is. He didn't play much. Only played in 10 games. Had 12 catches, 246 yards. But he can kind of push down the field. He's a taller guy. He can be a red zone threat for him to help him out, and he can give some relief to the 2 top guys as far as, underneath stuff and being a possession type receiver for them. They picked up Equanimous St. Brown from the Bears. Had 5 catches for 62 yards last year, and they drafted Bubba Means from the University of Pittsburgh. And again, their wide receiver room that I really like. There's no super duper star, even though Olave could be that, but there's a bunch of good complementary pieces, and I like the way this room is put together, and I have them ranked number 12. Their tight end room. Number 18, led by Juwan Johnson. He played in 13 games, had 368 yards. The versatile Taysom Hill is also in this room. Played 16 games, had 33 catches. But Taysom Hill plays running back, quarterback, and tight end. But he's listed as a tight end. And they added Foster Moreau too. Well, they already had Foster Moreau. He played in 15 games, had 21 catches for just under 200 yards. So they got 3 versatile tight ends, and they can do a bunch of different things, especially with the versatile Taysom Hill, and he can do a little bit of everything. He's the new Slash as far as quarterback, running back, and tight end. Probably could play some O-line and receiver too if you wanted them to. But I have their tight end room ranked number 18. But as far as pure tight end, Juwan Johnson is that guy for them. O-line. Now, their O-line I got ranked 22. Now, O-line is not bad. Eric McCoy, their center, is their highest rated O-line at 79.4. I think they got rid of the one O-lineman that was really, really hurting them, and that was they didn't get rid of him. They replaced him. Trevor Penning. Trevor Penning's still on the team, but he was the guy that was really hurting him, and they drafted Talisi Fuaga, who I thought was the best tackle in the draft. In my rankings, Talisi was the best tackle in the draft, and that's who they drafted. Everybody else, Ryan Ramchek's a all-star. Cesar Ruiz is good. Salvadori was okay, but I think I got their O-line ranked 22. But they're going to replace Penning with Fuaga. I think Fuaga was the best left tackle in the draft. So I think their O-line is going to be drastically better this year. But I got to see it. But I got their O-line ranked 22. You got Fuaga at left tackle, Salvadori at left guard, McCoy at center, Cesar Ruiz at right guard, and Ryan Ramczyk, who's a stalwart, at right tackle. So I got their O-line ranked 22. And Penning just used to grab people and throw them. And the same thing he did in college. And Fuaga should definitely solidify that left side, and they should be better. They shouldn't give up as many pressures, as many sacks, and could possibly run the ball better. Let's go over to the dark side. Defensive line edge group. Now, Cam Jordan has been a stalwart on this defensive line for a long, long, long time. I think the cliff is creeping up on Cam. Last year he played in all 17 games, only had 2 sacks. With Cam on it, at 4-3 team, so we got 4 defensive linemen. With Cam on the inside is Nathan Shepard. He played 17 games, had 3.5 sacks. Kalen Sanders is also in there. He played in all 17 games, only had 1 sack, 57 tackles. The guy that kind of got off, and probably because Cam was being doubled and whatnot, was Carl Granderson. Carl Granderson played 17 games, had 78 tackles, 14 tackles for loss, 8.5 sacks, and 20 QB hits. So my assessment from this is Cam got doubled, and Carl Granderson got off. Before that, I got this D-line edge group ranked 30th because Cam got to get off too. Cam, you the lead dog. You got, for you to, and I know you're older in age, but you got to get off. Carl Granderson he's not going to be able to sustain this. And then there's no shot at Carl Granderson. Cam got to be the lead. And I know age is up there, but I don't think Carl can put a back-to-back year together like this. I don't. And that's why I got them 30th. Because if Cam as you get older in NFL age, a lot of times you'll play decline. Everybody can't have that bounce back year like he had. But as you get older, you'll play decline. And if you get another year like this out of Cam Jordan, I don't think you're going to get another year like this out of Carl. And it's going to be tough on these linebackers. Which their linebacker group is pretty good, speaking of. I got their linebacker group ranked number 10. And that's why I was kind of alluding to that, because I really like their linebacker group. Starting with Pete Werner. Pete Werner had 93 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, and an interception. Really solid Pete back there on that left, I think it's the left side of DeMario. And speaking of DeMario Davis, I can't say enough good things about DeMario Davis, even at his age, man. DeMario is a solid Pro Bowl, All-Pro linebacker in his mid-30s. Like, DeMario is probably 33, 30. He's 34. Played 17 games last year, 121 tackles, 12 tackles for loss, 6.5 sacks, 11 QB hits, a forced fumble, and he was second team All-Pro and made the Pro Bowl at 34 years old. And they added Willie Gay, one of the Chiefs' stronger linebackers. The Chiefs had some good linebackers. They added Willie Gay to this team, to this linebacker core. I really like their linebacker core. So if their defensive line can keep these 3 guys free, they will hunt all season long for the New Orleans Saints. But I have the linebacker room ranked number 10. Let's go to the secondary, if I can get to it. Here we go. Cornerback room, 17. Paulson Adebo, 15 games, 56.8 reception rate, 11 PBUs, 9 penalties. Marshawn Lattimore, who's the dog in this room, He only played 10 games, 58.7 reception rate, 6 PBUs, 5 penalties. Alontae Taylor, a young buck, 17 games, 75 tackles, 66.4 reception rate, 7 PBUs, 5 penalties. And like I said, I rarely mention a fourth corner, but they drafted Kool-Aid McKinstry. I don't know where he's going to fit in this mix. You can be for doggone sure he's going to be in this mix somewhere. I don't know if Adebo's going to be bumped out of there. I don't know how they feel about Taylor, even though Taylor looked like he had the better stats. But you best believe Kool-Aid McKinstry is going to be in this mix somewhere. And I have this cornerback room ranked number 17. That safety room. Last year, that safety room was ranked pretty high. But this year, they kind of took a hit because one of the guys not in there anymore. But Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu is still there. And the second guy in this group now is Jordan Howden. But as far as Tyrann Mathieu, 17 games, 60% reception rate, 3 PBUs, 4 penalties. And Honey Badger is still one of the better safeties in the league. Plays hard, one of the smarter guys out there. One of the most instinctive guys out there. Add that with Jordan Howden, 16 games, 43 tackles, 70% reception rate, 5 PBUs and 1 penalty. The Honey Badger is carrying this room, obviously. Jordan's not bad, but last year they were ranked in the top 5. Now they dropped to 13, and that's where I have them. So let's put all these numbers together so we can average them out. Let me get this up. So as far as total rankings, the quarterback room is ranked 22, running back room 25, wide receivers 12, tight ends 18, O-line 22nd, D-line 30, linebackers 10, quarterback 17, and safeties 13. Their best room is the linebacker room at number 10, but when you add them all together, average them out, it comes out to be 18.77777, and that puts them as the number 22 team on the more Sip2Tally power rankings. I forgot to mention their draft picks while I was recording, so let's talk about it now real quick. And most of them we've already talked about. Talisi Fuaga, who was their first pick, is probably going to start at left tackle. Kool-Aid McKinstry is going to be in their cornerback rotation, who was their second pick somewhere. Spencer Rattler is their future QB. Bud Means, who's in that wide receiver conversation. Probably not going to play that much, but if something happens to one of their top tier guys, could factor in there. Could probably be the kickoff returner for the team. Jalen Ford, backup linebacker, who's probably going to be a special teamer, came from Texas. Christian Boyd, a defensive line who could be in the mix, defensive lineman from Northern Iowa. And rounding it out is offensive tackle Josiah Isram from Eastern Kentucky. So are the Saints too high? Are they too low? If I'm not mistaken, this is the third NFC South team we have already. Let me check. 1, 2. Yes, this is the third NFC South team we've had already. So I don't know what that says about that division, but you make your own assessment. So I appreciate you guys for coming out. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with me. So like, comment, subscribe, share, and I'll see y'all tomorrow with team number 21. Peace and love, y'all.